It started with whispers in the dark corners of the small town of Haverhill, rumors of a clown, clad in tattered, blood-stained rags, prowling the streets at AM. At first, no one believed the stories, just another urban legend to spook the locals. But as the sightings increased, fear took root. It was a cool autumn night when Jake, a college student home for the weekend, decided to investigate. Armed with his phone and a flashlight, he set out to uncover the truth. The streets were eerily quiet as Jake wandered through the town. Street lights flickered, casting long, ominous shadows. He reached the old playground, a place now avoided by everyone after sunset. The rusted swings creaked in the wind, and the air felt heavy, oppressive. Jake checked his phone. 2:55 a.m. He sat on a bench, waiting, adrenaline coursing through his veins. The clock struck a.m. For a moment, there was nothing but the sound of Jake's breathing and the distant hum of the town. Then, from the darkness, a soft, haunting melody drifted through the air. Jake's heart raced as he followed the sound, moving deeper into the shadows. The music led him to the edge of the playground, where the dim light barely reached, and there, standing under a broken street lamp, was the clown. The clown's appearance was grotesque, its face a white mask with smeared red lipstick, eyes black voids. It wore a filthy, torn costume, and in its hand, it held a small music box, the source of the chilling tune. The clown didn't move, just stared at Jake with an unsettling grin. Jake's breath caught in his throat. He wanted to run, but his legs felt like lead. Suddenly, the clown started walking towards him, each step slow and deliberate. Jake stumbled backward, tripping over a root and falling to the ground. The music grew louder, more distorted, desperate. He scrambled to his feet and sprinted back towards his house. Glancing over his shoulder, the clown was gone, but the eerie melody lingered in his mind. Jake burst through his front door, slamming it shut behind him. His parents were asleep, oblivious to the terror he had just encountered. He locked every door and window, his hands shaking. Sleep was impossible. Every creak of the house, every gust of wind outside made him jump. He stayed awake until dawn, eyes wide open. The image of the clown burned into his memory. The next day, Jake shared his experience with his friends. They laughed it off, calling him paranoid, but Jake knew what he saw. Determined to prove he wasn't crazy, he convinced his friend Mark to join him the following night. As the clock approached AM, they took their positions in the playground, cameras ready to capture any evidence. They didn't stop until they reached the safety of Jake's house. Panting and drenched in sweat, they locked themselves in. The next morning, they found eerie, red handprints smeared across the windows and doors. The clowns had followed them. Haverhill's residents awoke to a new terror. Their once safe town now a place of nightmares, and every night, as the clock struck AM, the haunting melody would begin again. Mark and Jake froze in terror. The clowns formed a circle around them, the music growing louder and more distorted. A cacophony of horror. Jake's flashlight flickered and died in the pitch blackness. He could feel the clowns closing in, their hot breath on his neck, their whispers echoing in his ears. He and Mark bolted, crashing through the underbrush, not daring to look back. Time passed slowly. AM came and went with no sign of the clown. Mark was about to call it a night when the familiar music began playing again. Jake's heart pounded. He turned to see the clown emerging from the darkness, just as before, but this time, it wasn't alone. Behind it, a small group of clowns followed, each one more hideous than the last.